Welcome to the Cougar Cast here at the Kokomo Post Sports. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, and this is a place to get all the information on what's going on inside the athletic department at IU Kokomo. And joining us once again is my guy, Grant Patterson. He is a sports information coordinator, director at IUK. I don't know why I said coordinator. I know it's director. It's one of the two things that describe what Grant does at IUK. Grant, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be back here, Jake, on a consistent basis, too.
Consistent basis is correct. And there's one thing about that word consistent basis that ties into Sydney Duncan, because when she's out there throwing shot put, discus, javelin, doesn't matter, she is consistent, and she was recently named the River States Conference Female Athlete of the Year.
Yeah, Jay, not only the Female Athlete of the Year for 2024-2025, she's also the program's first ever River States Conference Female Athlete of the Year since the RSC and the KIAC were formed. Obviously, the RSC was formerly the Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, but man, Sydney was consistent with her performances throughout the year, no matter the event, if you will, whether it was shot, disc, hammer, or weight throw, depending on the indoor or outdoor season. She was absolutely dominant. And in preparation for getting an article posted on it this week, I did some research, and it was incredible to see. She had a great freshman year, as we all know. 2 years ago, she had an astonishing freshman year, really made a name for herself and set herself up for a great collegiate career at the NAIA level. And I definitely knew that she would have a chance to win some titles. I didn't necessarily think that she would sweep the shot put titles this year, but I knew she would definitely get a couple of national championships throughout her career. Well, she did that this year in her sophomore campaign, and that in itself, in my opinion, is enough to give her the River States Conference Female Athlete of the Year award. But she didn't stop there, Jay. That's what's so impressive to me is she was the national runner-up in discus at the Outdoor National Championships, and that was her final event of the week. So that was a busy week for her. All 3 days of competition at Outdoor Nationals, she was competing in a throwing event, with first day being hammer throw, where she barely missed earning All-American honors. The second day was shot put, where she breezed to a national championship a mark that placed her third all-time in NAIA outdoor shot put women's history. So that was incredible. And then to round it out on the final day with one of the best throws ever in discus competition for an IUK female, the best throw ever by an IUK female, I should say, that lost by just a few, I'm going to get this wrong, but a few centimeters, or not even a few meters. It was that minuscule of a mark that she lost by in discus. But man, 5 River States Conference titles, 2 at the indoor championships in Marietta, and then 3 at the outdoor championships. And she absolutely just made her mark in a big, big way. And it wasn't just the River States Conference level. Yes, this is a River States Conference level award, or a conference level award, if you will. But I mean, as we saw with her earning multiple NAIA, Great Lakes, National Female Field Athlete of the Year awards, I think it's proof that she is simply the best female thrower, field athlete of the year across the NAIA, no doubt about it.
And the crazy thing is about Sydney, she has 2 years left to throw at IUK. So he just went over all the accolades that she's won, not just last year, but throughout her first 2 years as a thrower at IUK. She could go out and be one of the best throwers in the NAIA level as a female over the past 10 years. I don't know the numbers. I don't know all the stats. I don't know all that off the top of my head. But I know this young lady is very, very talented, and Josh Colvin is very, very lucky to have 2 more years of her here in Kokomo.
Yeah, she is simply one of the most storied throwers in the history of the NAIA on the female side of things already through 2 years of competition, and obviously she still has 2 more left. It'll be interesting to see. I definitely think that she'll bring home a couple more national titles. I don't think she will only stick to national titles in shot put, Jay. I don't think it's necessarily a bold prediction, considering she was a few meters or centimeters or inches short of a discus national title this year. But man, I just think the sky's the limit for her. And what's so incredible to me is to be not necessarily a close relationship, but she is one of our student athletes, and to see her excel in the classroom and make such an impact outside of the classroom and outside of competition as well. She's a member of our student athlete advisory committee, I'm pretty sure, under Alexa Roberts, our SAC, our senior women's leader in SAC oversight, if you will. So it's just awesome. She makes her impact in multiple different ways. And another thing, Jay, is she's staying close to home. She's a kid from Anderson and Frankton High School, just down the road. It's not as far as you think. So to see her stay home, and I don't think there's been a thought in her mind to ever leave IU Kokomo to continue the rest of her collegiate career.
From Sydney Duncan doing big things, getting awarded as for being the best female athlete in the River States Conference, to some youngsters that are currently on campus at IUK and enjoying a very, I'm assuming, enthusiastic men's basketball camp.
Yeah, campus is buzzing this week for sure. Once again, after a couple weeks off between the 4th of July holiday, and then last week just no camps going on. But man, between camps going on, Jay, and sports returning to practice around August 4th or so, we are pretty much going to be full go on campus, or at least around the gym. The gym is going to be populated with people at the very least. With men's basketball camp going on right now, they'll have another set of camps next week, and then the following week is women's basketball camps for the young Cougar camp edition, and then right after that, I believe, is that next week where we'll get going with our sports. And it is just, it's really, the summer goes by so quick. It's not much of a summer. I'm definitely realizing that, as I've mentioned multiple times this summer. But yeah, it's constant work. And the kids are putting in work as well. Heather and I were laughing yesterday. We heard Coach Traquan Spivey, our assistant men's basketball coach, getting the kids to listen to him, and they responded with a resounding "Yes, Coach" or "Yes, sir." And if you know the person that Coach Spivey is, it's awesome to see him get that buy-in from those kids and still have fun with it, but still teach the disciplines of respect and listening to a coach and being coachable at a young age. So our camps are diverse. Multifaceted. You become a better person, but also a better athlete in your respective sports. So I'd always say go check those camps out. Still have 2 opportunities. If you've got a young female camper, maybe interested in a young Cougars camp, check out our website there on the women's basketball tab. Still have that coming up. And then, yeah, we still have another full camp next week under Coach Eckelbarger and the men's basketball staff and student athletes. So still plenty of opportunities for any local basketball standouts or those kids just getting interested in the game of basketball, maybe interested, bring them on out the rest of this summer. A couple weeks left in the summer for those young kids. I know school's starting sooner than the college level, obviously, so bring them out and have a little fun to end their summer.
I'm going to close out with something that I didn't prepare Grant for, but he'll understand that my brain is just wired to do things randomly. Let's look about a month from now.
Yeah.
I think a couple weeks ago we talked about how there's a home opener for volleyball. When is the home opener for soccer?
Man, I think the home opener for soccer comes, I know it comes after that. I couldn't tell you the exact date of it. I was just talking with Sohaila. Our scrimmage is on the 16th, so we'll scrimmage against another opponent on the 16th at Municipal. I can't tell you when exactly the first home match is. I think it comes the week after the 20th.
Okay.
If I remember right. Maybe the 26th versus IU Northwest. I know it's IU Northwest. I just can't remember exactly the date. But yeah, stay tuned next week. I guess that's your teaser there. We'll come in here and have the first date of competition for that River State's or women's soccer home match. It won't be a River State's conference match. But then while we're on that, also at the end of August 30th, is the Alumni Community 5K Fun Run from cross country and track and field. All donations go to support that. And all we ask is just for a small $10 donation for you to be able to participate in the 5K Fun Run.
As someone that participated in that event last year, you do not have to be a runner to go. And if you are a runner, you don't have to be training like the athletes at IUK are for top tier college events. You can be at any level. You can walk the whole thing. You can run the whole thing. It doesn't matter. I'll be there. I believe Grant
will be there. It is confirmed.
And I would encourage everybody out there. I know it's the first full week of college football. There's football from Thursday to Monday. You can get there that morning at 9 a.m. and get that thing done before kickoff of the noon games that day. I will be watching a noon game myself. Grant knows that. So I'm going to be there at 9 a.m. My wife will be there. As long as everything goes well, my son will be there as well. Just go out there and support IUK. These young athletes need your support. Grant does a great job of highlighting them, but you can also get out there and watch them, see them in action, see them with their own teammates, see what Josh Colvin has been doing to build a very successful cross-country program, help not only cross-country, but also track and field. Grant, I did not know that was going to come out of my mouth when I started talking, but I encourage everybody, come out and support IUK, the cross-country team. It's at Northwest Church, or
Northview, yep.
Northview, sorry. I'm thinking Northwestern for obvious reasons. Not going to talk about that right now. But just go out there and support these young athletes, and a very easy walk or run to start your Saturday afternoon.
I was going to say, get a chance to interact with a bunch of young student athletes that a lot of them are local. A lot of them will make an impact on this very community, but also a chance to interact with the coaching staff, interact with friends and family that you may invite out there as well. And you'll get to see me and Jay participating in the 5K.
So there's one person here that's not here right now that I need to talk to. Grant, is Alexa going to do anything that day?
I'm not sure if we can get Alexa to make the trip for the 5K or not. That'll be a you conversation I'll ask you to have with her, and maybe if Baby Trey's there, she will make an appearance.
I will have Baby Trey talk to her in his own voice, and they can have their own conversation to get that conversation going. There will be a conversation coming up after the break. Kolin Conner, the new baseball coach at IUK, will be joining us for a very enjoyable conversation. And I have a good feeling you'll like what he has to say about how he's going to lead the Cougar baseball program. As the Cougar Cast rolls on, I'd like to welcome into the show the new head baseball coach at IUK. It's Mr. Kolin Conner. Kolin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jay.
We've been waiting and kind of anticipating you coming in here and talking to Grant about getting the new head baseball coach. You have been in officially since July 1st, and you have been very, very busy. But while you've been busy, you've had some time to soak in what it means to be here at IUK. What has this transition been like for you so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think IUK is in a spot that's very interesting in the sense that there's a lot of really good people that work there. The other part is just the town in general is filled with people that want to help people.
Yeah.
So I think the idea of that is cool because the community side of things. For me, it's a huge deal because we're moving back to Indiana, being up in Chicago for the last 10 years. And my kids are 7 and 4, so I have a chance to move back close to home. They can spend more time with grandparents. But to circle back to your question, there's a lot of opportunity to be able to get the baseball team good really fast there. With the IU degree, with the facilities that we have, and once again, just people that want to help people on campus, so there's a lot to be desired. There's really no excuses to be had. It's a really good opportunity personally, but also it's a really good opportunity professionally. Have a chance to get kind of like that second wind, and just to come back home is a big deal for us.
Was one of your goals to eventually come back home to coach baseball?
I don't know if it was a goal. It was always a goal to move a little bit south. This opportunity was brought to my attention a couple times, and with it being brought to my attention the second time, it felt like kind of something that was just meant to be for us. So my wife's from Indy, I'm from Indy, so once again, just an opportunity to be back close to home. And when you go through the coaching process and the coaching idea, obviously recruiting is a huge part of it, but there's a lot that we can talk about that can be sold to recruits as you go through this process. And I think just, living in Chicago and coaching at a Division III school, you learn a lot about being able to use your resources, but you also learn a lot about being able to sell what you have. And I think the main thing is just there's a lot of really good stuff about being here.
How would you compare D3 ball to NAIA ball?
Yeah, so the main way it's different is the amount of time that you get to spend with your players.
Good point.
Yeah, so there we essentially had 20 days for the fall. Here we have 48 days for the fall, So my wife was like, you have to be so excited because you get to spend more time coaching and doing what you love.
Yeah.
The degree is relatively similar. Obviously here with the IU degree, that's a huge deal, but the main thing is just the time you get to spend with the players.
You have been very, very busy, not only soaking in what it means to be here at IUK, but also recruiting, trying to fill the roster for the upcoming season. Has that been difficult for you?
It's been a little bit difficult, but to be honest with you, it's a nice push that we kind of needed. The assistant that I brought with me actually just walked off the field 2 months ago. So he's 24 years old. He's an Indiana guy. He's young. I've known him since he was 12. So it was an easy adjustment for him because while he was playing, we were teaching him kind of what it looks like. So it's been a challenge, but once again, man, it's hard to complain because, when people see me out recruiting guys that played for me or coaches that I know, they're like, I haven't seen you like this happy in a long time.
Wow.
And it's just to see that it was just kind of a push that we needed.
I mean, it could be the weather because, you've been to the Windy City. It does get pretty cold in the wintertime.
Yeah, I think the weather's definitely a little bit. Yeah.
So was it kind of a no-brainer hire to bring Eli here to Kokomo?
It was for me in the sense that when you start to build or start it over, with me having a family, we had to have somebody that was able to go recruit whenever we needed to. And he has a girlfriend that's extremely awesome and understanding, and his family is great, and they wanted to help out too. So it was an easy transition because he helped me build the program there back to what it was before I took over. The other part is he has the freedom and he has the ability, and he's a go-getter in terms of just kind of what we're looking for in student athletes.
like most coaches, you have a playing history of your own. You played at Lincoln Trail and also at St. Joseph's. What kind of player were you?
Wow, I mean, I was a catcher. I came in, I guess you could say offensive as an offensive catcher.
Okay.
By the time I was done, it was a little bit more defensive.
Okay.
I guess. Energy guy. Love the opportunity to be able to lead and to be a guy that people look to. I did not have it all figured out. I'm not saying that at all. But I enjoyed just the idea of having to get kind of everybody on the same page.
Why did you transfer to St. Joseph's?
So after Lincoln Trail, obviously it's a junior college, so you go for 2 years.
Good point.
Yeah, the cool thing about that is I met my wife there. So
At Lincoln Trail.
yeah, she played
Okay.
softball. Yeah, so it worked out good for us. But transferred to St. Joe because obviously we were done at junior college. But my grandpa, he coached there. He played baseball there. He also played football there. So there was a little bit of that. I love the head coach that I had a chance to play for. He's legitimately a big reason why I'm sitting right here today talking to you. And I think something else that was special about St. Joe and, you know, the small schools that have strong alumni and strong relationships, those are the ones that create a really special experience. And the guys that I went to school with, we have a group chat of like 20 of us that still gets going kind of every day.
Yeah.
You know? So the idea that I was gonna meet dudes and kind of form relationships with guys that are gonna be my friends for the rest of my life. So that was a huge part of it.
What are your plans for the Cougars baseball program?
Wow, what a great question. What a great question. So obviously, with this, just the opportunity to have, you know, success. But I think before winning a conference championship and going to the regional and having an opportunity to go to the World Series, we have to be better in the classroom. You know, we have to create a culture that sustains itself. We don't want to be a spot where guys come for a couple of years and go somewhere else. You know, we want guys to come there, be there for 4 years. And I think a huge part of it is just in terms of the way that we recruit, it's kind of built for really good, smart high school kids, you know. And if you're talking about building relationships and building culture, the way that you can do that is having people that you can coach for 4 years. Don't get me wrong, we'll have a few transfers that'll fill the gap in certain spots,
Yeah.
but there's a little bit of a list of things for IU Kokomo baseball. And the first thing is kind of what you alluded to is you got to start with recruiting.
Yeah. You do have to start with recruiting. One thing that Grant and I have talked a lot about, and also any coach that's able to come in, we always try to harp on the importance of getting it done in the classroom. You can be great on the track or you can be great playing baseball, but if your grades start to slip, that hinders how productive you can be when you're playing or playing the sport or running the sport or whatever you do or doing athletically. You had a way to help lead the baseball team at your previous job be very successful in the classroom. How did you accomplish that goal?
Yeah, I think a huge part of it is just making it a point of emphasis,
Yeah.
you know, as being the head coach. When you're the head coach, you're fortunate because there's daily messaging, you know, so within that daily messaging, you can talk a lot about the things that are important, you know, and we say it a lot, like it's cliche to say that if you're good at life, you can be good at a sport. It is, but it's true. And I think a lot of that was just building the trust of the guys. Something that I do is I meet with every player every 2 weeks. Individually. Go over school, go over life, go over family, go over all of that. You know, like kind of force guys to talk to me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think when you do that and you build that trust, there becomes a little bit of a comfort level in terms of guys being able to navigate college baseball. And the other part is just, you know, it's when guys graduate, we want them to become good husbands, good leaders, and good fathers. You know, and the way that you do that is you prove to the world that you can handle all the really awesome stuff that college gives you. You know, and that starts kind of in the classroom.
It's got to be tough, especially with the incoming freshman, to have a coach that cares about what happens on the baseball field and also off of it, but it's rarely to have those like man-to-man conversations early on. Is it tough when you do that with someone that you just met?
It's definitely a little bit difficult, but I think you try to like formulate questions that you know can kind of be open-ended.
Yeah.
Right? Because we actually met with a freshman today that came to look at housing, and we didn't recruit him. You know, he was already there, but he was just like, talk to me about what we're going to do and talk to me about, you know, is it going to be win at all cost? And we just kind of talked about the off the field stuff, but I think the other part of it is like, what do you enjoy outside of baseball?
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me about your family. Like, what else drives you outside of the idea that you have to prove yourself to your coaches? So I think there's a mixed bag of questions that you have to ask, but the more you meet with them, the more comfortable they get. The more comfortable they get, the more it opens up. So you kind of work from there.
2 more things here for you. What's a recruiting pitch as you're trying to build a team?
So the first thing you have to do before you can come up with your pitch is figure out what makes you desirable as a location. So the big thing that we've talked about is just this class for the fall is very important. We need 4 or 5 more guys to fill it out. As we've started our 2026 visits, is we just talk about how pivotal that class is for the trajectory of the program. And it goes back to the same thing we just talked about like, you got to have good players, but you want them to be good humans too. And it doesn't mean that they can't get fired up and they can't be intense and they can't have confidence. I want all that. But it's about putting the guys on the roster ahead of you, because if the team has success, you're probably going to have success too. So it's the idea of that. It's the idea of guys having character in terms of how they act, but also the type of teammates that they're going to be. There's a consistency component to it. We just talk about challenging guys, challenging them, building a plan that they believe in. And the last and most important is do what you say. Don't just say it because it sounds good, because you don't want it to become that salesman type thing. It's just like, this is what he said he was going to do, and this is what we're going to do together. So the execution is above all in terms of everything.
Last thing here for you. What is the message you want to leave everybody with about you being the new baseball coach here at IU Kokomo?
I don't know if there's a message. The only thing I would say is just come see us play. Come be part of the IU Kokomo campus and athletic department. The volleyball program has had extended success. The men's basketball program has had extended success. There's a lot of really good coaches in the department that are building something that's pretty special. So not so much about me, just more about the department in general.
He is Kolin Conner. He's the new baseball coach at IUK. I want to appreciate and thank my guy, Grant Patterson, for coming on the show as well. This has been the Cougar Cast. We'll see you next time.